Alright, kiddos. Just another day. Living this life. I let the YouTube know. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. This should not be attorney advice. If you need an attorney, rip as much money out of your savings account to pay the scumbag of your choice. Um, Since exempt from all privacy claims, it complies with all terms, guidelines, community guidelines on YouTube. This is from a government website. It's freely available to the public for inspection. There's no personally identifiable information here except for mine. These courts won't redact anyway. So, I spent all day working on this. Oh, and this is for the educational purposes, informational purposes, newsworthy purposes, entertainment purposes. Maybe for entertainment purposes only. So I'm sitting here. I've been declared indigent by the courts, but they never did any proper legal or lawful procedure to find out if it's indigent or not. But I got a trust fund. I got a stupid trust fund. So I'm like, why should the taxpayer pay for the lawyers that you're not even giving me anymore when I got a trust fund? So like, let me just put this on file there. They'll probably ignore it. But let's just run through it. So here I am, Tasha Teeling. That's my email that people try to hack you at. There's a date, clerk of court, and I structured this. It's not a motion. Once again, I'm not an attorney. Don't mistake this as legal advice. I didn't structure it as a motion. This is just a letter. I submitted it as a request. I had yet another one of my last lawyers removed themselves from the service list. Clerk of court should be Nikki Alvarez Souls. She's a real estate lawyer, a real estate attorney. Been placed here by the governor, I think, to steal your homes and shit. What else do I want to do? So I put their name, their address. It's in reference to financial status, court's repeated failure to follow due process, trustees breach of fiduciary duty under Uniform Trust Code, and trust administration fraud. So they can deny my motions. This isn't a motion, it's a request. And I'm just putting this on record. So to the clerk and presiding judge, I write and formally address my financial status and bring to the court's attention serious fiduciary breaches and legal violations concerning the administration of the Teeling Family Trust, including improper notarization, trustee misconduct, and likely financial fraud spanning the past 25 years. Additionally, I must emphasize the court's persistent failure to adhere to mandated legal procedures, which has significantly prejudiced my rights. The court's failure to address my financial status in light of my beneficiary rights under the Uniform Trust Code, or UTC. I'm a named beneficiary of the Teeling Family Trust, and under the Uniform Trust Code, subsection 813, I have legal right to receive trust distribution and as designated in the trust document, which these people won't let you see. They don't want you to have access to it. They want to keep you poor forever. Well, I'm not going to be poor anymore. Be provided with an accurate accounting of trust assets and expenditures. And yeah, like right here, you can see them up at the top. I don't know the pointer, but yeah, filing for this case, e-filed 217, 645, whatever. Be provided with accurate accounting and trust assets and expenditures. Hold the trustee accountable for any breaches of fiduciary duty. However, my trustee, we'll leave her name out, failed to provide me with financial distributions of the trust. Refuse to disclose trust records or providing an account in direct violation of Uniform Trust Code subsection 813A. You can go verify this all you want. This is all law. They're not gonna worry about law. Trust me. This court don't care about law. They don't care about evidence. None of that. Allowed an improperly notarized document to be used in a trust administration, raising concerns of additional fraudulent transactions. So they had a trust instrument, a negotiable instrument, improperly notarized, but fraudulently notarized. But the main point is how am I yeah, everyone knows I got to trust. Everyone knows my trustee is if you've been following me, and they're gonna deem me indigent, then deny me, give me all these crappy lawyers, and then deny me lawyers, these crappy lawyers, and force me to represent myself after they said I'm mentally insane, and then recanted on that. They're gonna stick it to the taxpayers. They're gonna take my bond, all this crap. It's stupid. So yeah. So had the trust been properly administered according to Uniform Trust Code, I would not be indigent. However, the trustee's breach of fiduciary duty and mismanagement of the trust have deprived me of the financial resources to which I am legally entitled. Despite these facts, the court has failed to conduct a proper indigency hearing. They've never had one. At no point has the court conducted a legally required inquiry into my financial situation. I could have made this much more lengthy. They won't read it, they'll ignore it anyway. Like, it's stuff that's been sitting on that guy's desk, that Frank Gray guy's desk, for well over a month now. Waiting for him to find a reason. Like, he denied of my motions over he didn't like my electronic signature, which is valid. And I resubmitted him with the signature. No, what's he going to wait and look him over again and be like, oh, well, this is wrong too, which he should have brought that up the first time. And that's also another reason why they shouldn't be denying me a lawyer. So, despite these facts, so, yeah, presumed indigency without basis. The court arbitrarily presumed indigency without reviewing trust-related financial disclosures. Failed to consider that my indigency, why is it so hard to say that word, is due to trustee mismanagement. The court cannot lawfully determine my financial status without considering my beneficiary rights under the Uniform Trust Code. By failing to account for my status as beneficiary and the trustee's financial mismanagement, the court's actions have resulted in violation of my rights to due process and fair treatment under the law. Look, if I had the benefits I was supposed to be getting, I can go hire any freaking Lionel Hutz or Saul Goodman, or whoever I wanted. But nope, they're going to block me from that, and they're going to block me from having any of these crappy ones that are on a list that are spending time in jail and shit. They're all facing charges themselves. And once again, this isn't legal advice. It's freely available on a public website. Don't violate any terms of service. Not subject to any sorts of claims. So, severe fiduciary violations by both a public and private fiduciary. This case presents a particularly alarming breach of legal and ethical standards involving both a public fiduciary, a notary, it's the fiduciary of the public, and a private fiduciary, the trustee, fiduciary of the private, acting in direct violation of legal and professional duties. And I think I missed this, but you got this one person who's a notary appointed by the governor, held under the Secretary of State's standards of administration. And then you got my trustee, who's also a licensed real estate broker. No one was ignorant of this. They know exactly what they did. It's not the first time they did it. So yeah, notary public breach, fiduciary of the public, New Hampshire law applies. We'll leave his name out. The notary who authorized a trust document is also a beneficiary of the trust under New Hampshire revised statutes. Notarial officer may not perform a notarial act with respect to a record to which the officer or the officer's spouse or civil union partner is a party, or to which either of them has direct beneficial interest. And you can take that term officer and delve into that too. This person's an officer. It should be held to a much higher standard. So by notarizing a document from which directly benefits financially that guy, violated the statute. And I could have went way further in depth with this, but I only have so many hours in a day. Compromising the validity of the notarization and calling into question the integrity of the trust administration process. They're creating negotiable instruments fraudulently. Trustee breach, fiduciary of the private uniform trust code violation. I think like 37 states follow uniform trust code. So under UTC Uniform Trust Code, subsection 802, a trustee must avoid conflicts of interest in self-dealing. Yet that lady knowingly allowed a financially interested notary, her son, to authenticate a trust-related document. Negotiable instruments. Creating negotiable instruments. She has refused to provide accounting of the trust financial status, violating UTC 813. She has deprived me of distribution of the trust, which is a clear breach of financial fiduciary duty. Pattern of fraud mismanagement, spending 25 years. The co-mingling of fiduciary responsibilities between a notary and trustee. Both of them disregarded the law, suggests a likelihood of ongoing financial misconduct. There's never been transparency, independent oversight, or a full accounting of trust assets. The trustee has exercised unchecked control over trust assets for 25 years. If one trust-related document was improperly executed, others likely were as well. And then I throw in this. This aligns with the principles expressed in Luke 16:10. Whoever is faithful in very little, whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. And whoever is dishonest with very little is also dishonest with much. All this law is based on biblical Mosaic law. That's where it all stems from. You get the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the Sanhedrin. All based on that. This goes way back. If the trustee and notary were willing to commit fraud in a single transaction, the one that I found, and I found multiple, this is just the major one, or one of the ones I found most important. What does that suggest about the management of the trust over the last 25 years? So a request for a forensic audit the blah 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 family trust. Due to the credible evidence of financial mismanagement, fraudulent notarizations, and a long-standing pattern of misconduct, I formally request a court-supervised forensic audit of the Teeling family trust. But court-supervised, these courts can't be trusted with anything. They're scam artists. They're total miscreants. It's a mafia over there. So yeah, full accounting of trust assets from 1990 to present. Probably delve into my abuse if you could trust these people from the second I was born. Oh, that would probably help too. These people aren't going to help you. Identification of any fraudulent, unauthorized or improper transactions. Review of all trust-related notarized documents to determine whether additional notarial fraud has occurred. Determination of whether the trustee breached fiduciary duties under the Uniform Trust Code. Request to the court. It's just a simple letter. It's not a motion. It's just a request. I request this. They'll deny my request. It's going to be amazing if they do. In light of these violations, I request the court acknowledge my indigency as a direct result of trustees' breach of fiduciary duty, and that then these people are fiduciaries of the public as well. These courts, you're going to put on a taxpayer to pay for my lawyer and then deny my rights. What I got a trust fund, a stupid trust fund that's never paid a dime. So yeah, acknowledge that indigency was a direct result of my trustee's breach of fiduciary duty. Require the trustee provide immediate accounting of all trust assets in accordance with UTC 813. Refer this matter to the investigation of the New Hampshire Secretary of State Notary Division for notarial fraud and of Florida's trust law authorities for misconduct by the trustee. I won't delve deep in here, but this has already been touched on and never addressed. Order a forensic audit of the Clown Family Trust to determine the full extent of financial misconduct spanning the past 25 years. Appoint legal counsel due to my counsel a continued lack of financial means to secure representation, and given that I have been left to defend myself in complex legal matters without the necessary expertise. And remember, they're trying to claim me as being mentally incompetent to stand a trial, but now I have to defend myself and go digging and putting hours in every day to keep myself out of jail. There's evidence of crimes, all of this shit. So in conclusion, if what's-her-face, sociopathy had fulfilled her fiduciary obligations, I would not be indigent. It's not simply a financial dispute, it's a matter of fraud, mismanagement, and systemic abuse of power. The court's failure to address my beneficiary status and trustee's financial misconduct has resulted in ongoing injustice. As to the court take immediate corrective action to enforce the Uniform Trust Code and Florida legal standards. Sincerely, Dasha Teeling. And I'll sign it twice now by electronic signature that they don't think I'm allowed to do. And then I go and sign it myself. An attachment, trust document, notarized by this clown. So you got her signature, her title, state of, and then the son, the other beneficiary, clearly has a disqualifying interest, is bound to be an independent and unbiased third party to. But no, we're related by 23 chromosomes, and financially we got the same bank accounts. There's a signature. There it is again with the stamp. It's official stamp. More stamps, seals. Ignorant of the law, and you're committing fraud just on this. This is one document. If you're unfaithful in little things, you're going to be unfaithful in everything. I go on and on about this. Once again, another disclaimer. This is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. It's for entertainment purposes only. It's newsworthy. It's an account of my life. It's my story. It's all public record. And I hope someone gets some use out of this. And keep following to see what happens. I'm presenting them clear evidence of fraud. Will they continue to perpetuate it? How far do they want to push this? They push it almost 3 years. Coming up next month. Pushing these bogus charges on me. I said I go on forever, and I probably will. Thank you for coming. You made it this far. I hope you got something out of this.